Lincoln was in the garage getting stuff ready to make himself a birdhouse. The lads had been seeing a lot of birds by their house recently, so Lincoln mentioned that he should build a birdhouse, to which Rita and Lynn Sr. liked the idea. While Lincoln was getting the tools ready in the garage, Rita got the table saw out with working goggles. "Now, Lincoln, one your sisters will have to help you with the table saw, as I don't need you using it on your own," Rita stated. "I'll ask one of my sisters to help me out. I wouldn't use the table saw without a grown-up," Lincoln said to his mother. "Good now, Lincoln, I have to go to work. If you need anything from me, you can call," Rita replied as Lynn Sr. arrived back at the house with some wood pieces. "Hey, son, I brought you over some pieces of wood for the birdhouse. There's enough wood to make 13 more, Lynn Sr. stated, as he brought the wood to the garage from Vanzilla. "Thanks, Dad. I'll ask one of my sisters to help," Lincoln replied. "That's a good idea, as tools can be very dangerous, and I don't trust you alone with them," Lynn Sr. said. "Call us if there's an emergency," Rita said before kissing Lincoln. Afterwards, she and Lynn Sr. headed off to work in Vanzilla. Shortly after the parents were at work, Lincoln went inside the house to look for someone to help him with his birdhouse. So he headed for the dining room to see Luan with a few things in a bag. Maybe Luan can help him. "Hey, Luan, can I ask you to help me out?" Lincoln asked. "Sure, what is it?" Luan replied, questioning Lincoln. "I'm building a birdhouse in the garage, but I cannot use any power tools without any of my older sisters to help me out," Lincoln explained. "So if that's okay with you, will you be able to help me out with the birdhouse?" "Sure, I got nothing much to do anyway, so I can help," Luan answered. "Yeah, Toots, I got wood in me that's stiffy. In fact, I should go spank the monkey," Mr. Coconuts said. "Mr. Coconuts, you and your dirty humor," Luan exclaimed while laughing. She then followed Lincoln out of the house and into the garage not far from them. Once Luan and Lincoln were in the garage, the two of them looked at the wood pile that Lynn Sr. had brought with them. "There's enough wood to build 13 birdhouses," Lincoln said to Luan as she grabbed some of the work goggles and handed one for Lincoln for safety. "We got wood," Luan cackled at her pun as she put her work goggles on, and Lincoln did the same. Luan walked over to the table saw and then turned it on. She then used a wooden plank through the table saw. The saw cut the wood in half, making Luan and Lincoln smile at this. "This is why you need me here, just so you don't get hurt," Luan stated, as she reached into her bag for stuff she was carrying earlier. "What are you doing?" Lincoln asked. "Just thought we would make Woodshop more fun by destroying stuff," Luan replied. "Are you sure that's safe? That saw is sharp," Lincoln said, unsure if what Luan is doing is safe or not. "As long as we keep ourselves away from the saw, that's all that matters," Luan stated, as she grabbed Lori's iPad. "Luan, you're not destroying Lori's iPad, are you?" Lincoln asked nervously. "Relax, Lincoln. It is just your old iPad, so I can do whatever I want with it. And besides, she got a new one last week, and all of her data from this one is on her new one," Luan said, as she let the table saw cut through Lori's old iPad. She then handed Luna's old cell phone to go through the saw table, which saw it in half. "No explosives, Luan. Just none of that. I'll go hammer some wood over for the birdhouse," Lincoln stated, as he headed over to his birdhouse to get started on building it. Luan then put a CD album of AC/DC through the table saw, watching it being cut in half. Lincoln was building his birdhouse, while Luan was being destructive and destroying some of the stuff with the table saw. Lincoln didn't care what Luan did on the table saw, just as long as she didn't get hurt while doing what she was doing on the table saw. Luan put a book through the table saw, followed by Lynn Sr.'s old laptop that got fried from Shiga one time. After the laptop went through, she was destroying some old stuff that she nor her siblings used anymore. "Luan, get back to work and hand me some more wood," Lincoln instructed, as Luan sawed off some wood for Lincoln. After she handed Lincoln some more wood, she found Lenny's old dress and put it through the table saw. She then put Lynn's baseball bat through the table saw, which almost had chunks flying from the table saw. "Luan, be careful!" Lincoln shouted as he ducked when a flying piece of chunk almost hit him. "Sorry," Luan shouted as she found Lola's old car tire and shredded through the table saw. She then found some more stuff of her siblings to destroy with the table saw. "Wow, Toots, you're even more destructive than Shigo ever was," Mr. Coconut said, as Luan accidentally put Mr. Coconuts through the table saw, sawing off his hand. "Mr. Coconuts!" Luan exclaimed as she pulled the emergency stop button on the table saw, causing the saw to stop running. "Luan, what happened? Did you cut yourself?" Lincoln asked. "It wasn't me, Mr. Lincoln. Mr. Coconut severed his head on the table saw." Luan picked up Mr. Coconut's and his severed hand. "Well, at least you didn't sever your finger or hand, or that would have been really bad," Lincoln commented. "Where did my cell phone go?" Luna asked as she stormed in the garage looking visibly pissed. "I sawed it with the table saw. It was your old cell phone, so you got a new one a few days ago," Luan answered. "You should have asked if you could shred it, dude. You're lucky that I transferred all my data from my old cell phone to my new one," Luna replied, not looking too happy. "I sawed off the iPad too," Luan cackled. Then Lori stormed into the garage looking pissed off. "Luan Loud, why did you take my old iPad?" Lori shouted angrily. "Relax, Lori. I wanted to saw some of the stuff in half," Luan replied with a chuckle. "You should have asked, Luan. You should have asked one of us for our things and not take them," Lori said, not looking very happy with Luan. "You're lucky that Mom and Dad are not here, Luan. Otherwise, we would have told them about it," Luna added. "Look, I'm sorry for being destructive. I was just having fun, that's all," Luna replied. "Yeah, I'd rather just spank the monkey than have my hand cut up by the table saw," Mr. Coconuts added. "I'll seal your hand back with Gorilla Glue, and then I will clean this mess up." Luan began to clean up the mess that she made from the stuff that she sawed off from the table saw earlier. After she did that, she apologized to Lori and Luna for sawing off their stuff without permission. Afterwards, Lincoln had just finished building his birdhouse and got to work on painting it. Luan learned a lesson that saws are not to be played with, as that is very dangerous around anyone, especially children to be around. Once Luan had used some Gorilla Glue, Mr. Coconuts had his hand back on. Once Lincoln was finished painting his birdhouse, Lori and Luna saw how great Lincoln's birdhouse was. "Your birdhouse looks awesome, Lincoln. When it dries, we can hammer it to a tree," Lori said, before turning to look at Luan. "You're lucky you didn't sever your finger, but it could have been worse if you did that while playing with table saws. Besides, Luan, playing with saws is dangerous, and if Mom and Dad saw you sawing your finger off, I'd be feeling bad for you," Luna said. "And you'll be going to the emergency room. At least it was just my hand," Mr. Coconuts remarked. "But still, playing with table saws can put people at risk of severing limbs off, and fingers," Lori stated. While the paint on the birdhouse was drying, Lincoln, along with Luan and Luna and Lori, headed inside to order pizza for lunch. Luan had learned that playing with table with saws are very dangerous, and that she could risk severing a finger if she played with table saws. While sawing some stuff off was fun for Luan to do, she never played around saws again since then. If her parents saw Luan playing with the table saw, she would be grounded for not only playing with something dangerous, but also sawing stuff in half without their permission. When Lincoln had his birdhouse hammered by the tree in the front yard, the Louds can see the new birds moving into their new house.